first one, Hadija, I think that's how you say that. Do these page titles, iPhone Repair Brooklyn and iPhone Screen Repair Brooklyn and iPad Repair Brooklyn and iPad Screen Repair Brooklyn have potential for cannibalization because the resemblance is close? Maybe, probably, but I don't know because I'm not in that industry. One way you could do it would be to test, here's well, if you have Cora, which is Ted Kubaitis's product, there's a volatility. Cora Lite, that's all you need. Cora Lite. You can do that. You can determine with Cora Lite very quickly if you have 2 pages on the site on one domain, on the same domain, that are targeting iPhone Repair Brooklyn and iPhone Screen Repair Brooklyn, and then you put you use Cora Lite to put your domain in and set Brooklyn as the search, Brooklyn, New York as the geolocation, and then put in iPhone Repair. Then you can run that report and you'll see, it'll show you and you can do that for each one of those search queries is what I'm saying. Each one of those keywords, you can put that in and it will show you, it does, you can set it for more than this, but the default settings are, it does 10 successive searches back to back for the same search query, because Google search results change. They're very fluid, guys. That's why I've been talking about this in the mastermind for months, but rank trackers are inaccurate. They're highly inaccurate. They are a good indication. Well, rank trackers are inaccurate, but also Google search results are fluid in that they shift often, a lot more than you think they do, right? Because when we look at a rank report, guys, we're looking at a snapshot at the moment that it was captured. That's what the results were at that moment. But they don't, search results change. That's why the Cora volatility report, which you can get from Cora Lite, which I think is $100 a month or something like that. Anyway, that does 10 successive searches for the same search query. You geolocate the browser, and then it does 10, and you can add more if you want, but by default, it's 10 successive searches, and it will show you clearly that Google search results are fluid. They shift constantly. In 10 successive searches, one right after the other, you will see results changing. And so it will tell you if you have cannibalization. If you don't have cannibalization, it'll show the URL that is ranked in the top 100 or whatever results. It'll show you where it's ranked, and it will show you out of all 10 searches where it was ranked. So for example, it might say 70% of the time. So it'll show, like, let's just say it was on a page 1, but it was shifting between position number 2 and 6. Let's just use those as an example. Then it'll show like 10 numbers with commas separated, right? So it'll say 2, 2, 2, 6, 2, 2, 6, 6, right? And so it'll show, like, each time that it did the search for that particular query, where that keyword landed, where the URL or the domain that you submitted for the report, where it landed in the search results. And it'll say, like, okay, out of 10 results, 60% of the time it was a number 2 position, and 40% of the time it was a number 6 position. If there's cannibalization occurring, though, because you've got more than one page on the same domain that are targeting similar titles, right? Then that's where you'll see, like, it'll show up at the top, let's say position, you'll see in the total list of results. So let's say 100 results, you'll see the highlighted yellow line or row, which would be your domain, a page on your domain. And then you'll find further down in the results another highlighted yellow line, and that's another page. And that'll show the 2 different URLs that are competing for that same search query. And so when the one URL that may be further up that's ranking better is ranking it for, remember, 10 successive searches, they're comma separated, showing the position in which that URL appeared for each one of those searches. So if there are 2 pages that are competing for the same search query, same search query, same term, at least according to Google, then let's say those 2 different rows of data, which are to be 2 different URLs, where it shows up at the top, it's going to have the position that it showed up in. So let's say 2 again. And then for all the times that it didn't show up at the top, but the other URL showed up at the bottom, there will be an X for that top line, and vice versa. The one that showed up at the bottom, so the other page, it'll be an X when the one at the top showed up, if that makes sense. I'd show you a report, but I'd have to run one to be able to show you, and that would take several minutes. So I'm not going to do that. But the point is, a Cora Lite report will show you very quickly, within a matter of minutes, if you have any cannibalization issues occurring. So the point that I'm trying to make here with this is, guys, I do a ton of these for clients now for audits, because the biggest issue that I have seen all of this year for all of 2023 is cannibalization. I've talked about that many, many times on Hump Day Hangouts. I mean, even some really good SEOs ask me to take a look at their projects. I look at their projects and I identify cannibalization issues because it is occurring. It's rampant right now. It's huge. And so Quora, invest in that. If you have projects that are suffering, invest in Quora Lite. It's $97 a month, I think. I pay for the full thing. So I think I paid, I don't know, 200 and some odd dollars a month or something for it. But Quora Lite's like $100 a month. You can run all of your reports for all of your keywords for all of your clients in a month and then cancel if you want. Ted even says that he's okay with that. So do it, right? Go get it and run it and you'll see for yourself. And that's the best way to do it. I don't know that industry. My guess is just from looking at the queries, the search terms that you've added here, they're likely are cannibalizing each other, but I don't know that for sure. Here's an interesting kind of case study I did an audit yesterday for one of my link building clients. And by all accounts, that particular site that I audited yesterday should be experiencing cannibalization issues because he has multiple pages on the site that are targeting the exact same SEO title. And it's an Australian project. It's .com.au domain. And for whatever reason, it is not suffering from cannibalization. And I have no idea why it's not, because it ought to be. So I advised him to still go through and retitle his pages and all that other stuff, because I told him, I said, look, I cannot explain why there's no cannibalization occurring here. My guess is it will occur if it hasn't yet. So most of the time, that's what I see is cannibalization issues. Occasionally, very rarely, I will come across something that ought to cause cannibalization, but isn't. And I don't know why that is. I honestly have no idea why that is. But anyway, hopefully that's clear. Go check out Quora Lite and you'll be able to figure that out on your own. It's worth the investment, because if you're having trouble ranking the pages that you want to rank to generate leads for your business, then you could spend an enormous amount of time and testing and trial and error to try to figure out whether it's cannibalizing or not, when you could have just invested $97, spent a few minutes running some reports on the top level terms and determining if there's cannibalization. It's going to save you a ton of time just to spend a little bit of money. So that's what I would recommend that you do. Okay. Be efficient with your time, guys. As I've said before, sometimes saving a few dollars just costs too much, right? So I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't really want to spend $100. I'll just do it myself. But if you spend 5-6 hours on something that you could have figured out in a matter of minutes by spending $100, what's your time worth? So I can't answer that. You have to answer that.